Hey, what's up? And in today's video, we're returning to my series going over the Death Note anime and manga. For the past couple of episodes, we've seen a soft reboot with Light and L teaming up to take on the Yotsuba group, and I've had mixed feelings about it. Well, I'm here today to tell you that the patience is paid off because this is when Death Note gets good again. They finally found a good blend between the suspense thriller we started out with and the goofiness that the Yotsuba arc introduced, and I guess the best way to show you is to just go ahead and get right into our first episode. We open this episode with a Yotsuba meeting where they're going over information Coil sent them. They get frustrated that Coil's making them do all the work since they're the ones paying him, so they decide to give him a call.
Now you have a choice. By the time it takes you to unstitch my asshole, Rachel will be dead. You can either go fuck Rachel and save her, or fuck me in my ass.
Yes, I understand. In that case, I think I have an even better idea.
We then cut to the new Kira writing down names and talking to Rem, and we hear his ultimate plan.
I'm going to make Misa Amane my wife.
Rem, having to sit here and listen to all this, has finally had enough and rips off a corner of the Death Note before putting it away. Catching back up with Elle and the team, we see them training Misa for the interview with the Yotsuba group.
Please stop overacting. It looks too cheesy, not to mention fake.
Huh? But I thought that was a realistic performance.
Just do it again.
Later on, probably the next day or something, we see Misa riding in a Benz on her way to the interview.
Misa.
You're not smiling enough, Mochi. And you can just call me Misa, you know.
The interview consists of the Yotsuba group and Coil, who is pretending to be the ad manager, and they ask her about being captured and accused of being the second Kira. The interview comes to a pause, and Misa takes this opportunity to give herself a pep talk in the bathroom.
Everything's going well so far. I just have to keep it up.
Yes sirree, that's right, Rem and Misa are finally back at last, and while Misa is scared at first, she eventually calms down and they have a heart-to-heart.
Misa, do you still love Light enough to die for him?
Unbelievable. You've got to be telling the truth.
But while this is happening, we cut to Light, who is studying the new Kira and old Kira, and is questioning if he could have really been Kira.
I'm not Kira. Something's gotta be wrong with me if I'm seriously comparing myself to that murderer.
Light Yagami is Kira.
Getting back to Rem and Misa, Rem gives Misa a rundown of the first batch of episodes.
The Death Note. It grants its owner the power to kill someone simply by writing that person's name in it. Light Yagami took it upon himself to punish criminals using that notebook. You also possess that same power. You managed to find Light by using your power to determine that he was in fact Kira.
It's really nice seeing the soft reboot starting to crack because Rem stepped in to protect Misa. I'm not sure if that's why they did what they did, but in my headcanon, they did the soft reboot in Yotsuba arc so we could see Light and L working together, which was nice to see. But when Rem comes out of nowhere with a Death Note like a steel chair at WWE, it gets you excited because the status quo they established is now being shaken. Rem tells Misa to trust Light and be careful of the Yotsuba group, and Rem is going to stand behind the new Kira so Misa can know who it is.
Higuchi's Kira? That bastard!
We open back up with Misa returning, and from this point on, this episode is kind of just a Misa episode, but it's actually really good. Like, I don't want to spoil anything, but when I kind of put it all together that this was a Misa episode, I was prepared to be disappointed. But after watching this episode, my opinion on Misa has done a total 180.
Oh well, I'm feeling pretty tired. Tomorrow's shoot is bright and early, so I'd better get some sleep.
We see Misa leaving the commercial shoot, but before she heads back to the tower, she stops at a hospital to use the bathroom, and we get an Ocean's 8 costume change, and Misa slips out in a nurse's outfit. All of this was to meet up with the new Kira and go on a date, and it's good that he drives a Porsche because the costume swap lasts all of 5 seconds.
Where's Misa?
She's on a date.
While in the car, Misa talks to the second Kira, but uses language that also lets Rem know what she wants.
Is this part of Light Yagami's plan? Is this what he wants you to do? Or is this your way of telling me that you want me to kill Higuchi the moment he tries to do anything?
Also, it's really just funny seeing Rem packed into the backseat of a sports car. Misa tells Higuchi that she actually was the second Kira, and she wants to find the real Kira and marry them, and this makes Higuchi's ears perk up.
That can't be. Even if she was the second Kira before, there's no way she still is. She's not supposed to have any memory of it either. What the hell's going on?
Higuchi plans to test Misa because if she passes, he knows that she has the Shinigami eyes and could be extremely useful, so he pops the question.
Well, since I happen to be Kira, does that mean you'll marry me?
Really?
Yeah.
This is kind of what I was talking about when I said they found a nice blend between suspense and goofy. Like, this is a brief moment in an inquisitive scene rather than being the focus of the scene. And after seeing it, you remember that Misa's currently in a sports car with a mentally unstable killer. Misa tells Higuchi that they should prove that they're Kira to each other, so Higuchi tells Misa to go first, and he pulls over to show Misa the target.
This is Ginzo Kaneboshi, president of a major finance company.
This is when I get kinda confused. So, as established, the only way to kill a Shinigami is for them to save someone using the Death Note, and isn't this kinda what Rem's doing right now? Like, Misa isn't writing the name on the scrap of the Death Note Rem used, and if the guy didn't die, then who's to say that Higuchi wouldn't kill Misa for knowing too much? I guess she's not in any immediate danger like before, but still, I would think that Rem killing this dude would save Misa's life. Higuchi then gets real rapey real quick, but after Misa asks him to prove that he's Kira, Higuchi uses the left it at home excuse, so Misa comes up with another plan.
Why don't you stop killing the criminals on TV? That should prove it. If you're Kira, it should be no problem.
While Higuchi is talking, Misa records him on her phone, and we cut to the tower where Misa's letting her massive balls drop all over the task force.
Once you're fully convinced I'm the real thing, you and I can get married.
Huh?
And so, based on what he said, Higuchi is Kira!
We open right where we left off, with Elle thinking about this new information.
If criminals do stop dying after this, it will make it difficult to determine a critical element, how Kira conducts his murders.
Elle then calls Weddy and asks her to focus on Higuchi, and we learn about some new house renovations.
He recently constructed a dampening room that shuts out any electronic waves. It took me 2 days just to break into the place.
Elle tells Weddy to bug the cars for now, and we get some sassy Elle.
Do you know how difficult it is to break into someone's house? Besides, do you have any idea of how many cars this guy has?
Yeah, he has 6.
Fine then.
We then come back to the old Elle asking Light about being Kira rodeo. There's also a Saw edit of something. I'm not sure if it's Light's thought process, Elle's thought process, or just some existential crisis, but the point of this exercise was to find out if Kira relinquished his power or if the Shinigami took the power away.
If we believe that this was the work of some being watching us from above, then we'd have to accept that they are impossible to catch. Not to mention, I'd already be dead. Or at the very least, I'm being made to be a fool by eternally dancing in the palm of someone's hand.
With Watari bringing in some more dessert, the rock music kicks in and we learn about Elle's new plan to catch Kira.
We'll create a situation where Higuchi will not be able to pass on his power.
The plan is to use Sakura TV to air a special revealing the identity of Kira to stir up Higuchi and catch him in the act. Matsuda gets the shit end of the stick and has to be the one to appear on TV.
It has to be someone whose name he can look up easily.
But we're never gonna find a person like that, are we? You're the only one who can do it.
They'll use this situation to make Higuchi try and figure out Matsuda's real name, and during this, they'll hopefully be able to see how Kira kills. Matsuda steps forward and we officially kick off the hype shit.
I don't need 2 or 3 days to decide. I want to do this.
Well, the hype shit hasn't started quite yet, as we see a secret meeting between 3 of the Yotsuba members. They're wanting to find out which one of them is Kira because they don't want to go along with it anymore, but they also don't want to die.
I mean, it's only a matter of time until the public finds out. And this isn't going to stop until that happens.
They come to the conclusion that Higuchi is the new Kira, and it's nice to see some sort of development for the Yotsuba group.
It's Higuchi, isn't it?
Yes. He's the one who's the most obsessed with money and success.
Up until this point, the Yotsuba group has been stereotypical evil businessmen, but now we're seeing the more human side of the members, and now that things are getting out of hand, a good majority of them won out. It might just be to protect their image and stay out of jail, but motivation is motivation no matter where you find it. The group questioned Nawikama about the phone call he got from Light, and it just so happens that Light is calling him again.
Mido and Shimura are here as well. I'm reasonably certain that neither of them are Kira. In fact, they seem fed up with him at this point. I'll speak for them and say they'll choose to stand back and watch her face off with Kira, like I plan to.
This is when we see the Yotsuba group teaming up with the task force and the wheels start to roll. Light tells Nawikama about the Sakura TV plan, and we cut to see Higuchi lounging around with a glass of wine celebrating his victory.
Higuchi, we've got a problem.
After getting off the phone with Nawikama, Higuchi starts making a series of phone calls that lead him right to where L wants him.
Everything's as planned.
Moji, where's Misa?
Oh, Mr. Higuchi, pleasure to hear from you.
It's great seeing Higuchi's growing desperation with every phone call, leading him to go mad.
And his first name was... I'm sorry, I can't remember.
Don't screw with me! Why the hell can't you remember the names of the people you hire?
All right, no need for that kind of language.
We cut to Elle and the task force listening in on Higuchi's phone calls and basically eating popcorn while they watch the show, and Higuchi grabs a gun along with the death note before speeding away in a sports car, being closely followed by Weddy. Higuchi also goes through his Fuzi arc while driving in the night.
I'll kill him. I'll kill him no matter what. I've come this far, I won't let them stop me.
Press bended habeas corpus and saved freedom.
That's excellent. And Weasel Jumper 4, if someone's in trouble...
Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to leave you on a cliffhanger like that. Now, I want to preface this episode by saying it's fucking nuts. Like, if you have any type of legume allergy, stay away from this episode. We pick up right where we left off with the Sakura TV special and the task force watching both the TV special and Higuchi while he's driving. Higuchi wonders if he's just wasting his time because Matsuda could have already destroyed the file, and he starts to talk to Rem.
Rem, what do you think?
What do I think? About what, may I ask?
Rem? Who's that? There's no one else in that car, right?
Higuchi is thinking about all of the possibilities, and Rem realizes that if this is a part of Light's plan, she should push Higuchi into going to the file.
He's going to announce your name in public. That's an inescapable fact. Your only option is to go. If the name on his file is false, that'll be unfortunate.
Higuchi then talks about going nuclear and killing everyone, including Misa, so Rem has to step in and calm him down.
What's up, man? What's happening, big guy? What's up with the gun?
Higuchi makes his way into the office and finds Matsuda's file while the task force watch in silence.
He's not doing it. He just made a note of his name before leaving, so he's not gonna kill him here?
The scene is great because we as the audience know that Higuchi just killed Matsuda, but the task force are confused and think that he just took a note of the name. After Matsuda remains alive, the task force are thrown into a whirlwind of confusion on what to do now.
Damn, he didn't die!
Well, what's he talking about? He said he didn't die.
Did he already try and kill Matsuda? Was writing his name down all he had to do, or was it...
We then see Higuchi losing more and more sanity as he asks Rem to make the deal for the Shinigami eyes.
Rem, let's make the deal.
The deal? Who is this Rem person he keeps talking to?
Now armed with the creepiest smile and a pair of Shinigami eyes, Higuchi speeds away. He very quickly gets pulled over, and while stalling the police officer, he uses his newly acquired eyes to kill the cop and speed away, almost causing a pileup.
All he did was put his hand in his bag. Could he have done something at that moment? More importantly, how was he able to obtain the name of the cop who stopped him?
L figures out that Higuchi now has the power to kill with just a face, and we go to DEFCON 1.
It's too dangerous to allow further action by Higuchi. Let's bring him in. I believe he has the same powers as the second Kira.
L calls the police to tell them what's going on, and Light tells his dad to go to Measure 7.
During the next commercial break, swap Matsuda and the MC with mannequins. We'll make it seem as if the broadcast is continuing as normal using the voices we've already prepared.
Misa also gets chained up before Light and L take a helicopter ride, and this is where shit gets nuts. Higuchi is headed to the Yatsuba office to look at surveillance footage of Matsuda so that he can kill him, but all of the footage has been deleted by Wedi, so we see Higuchi go full schizo mode.
Someone must have erased it. Did he come back and erase them himself somehow? Or has someone from the group betrayed me and started working with him? No, doing that wouldn't absolve them of their crimes.
Higuchi is now headed to the TV station, but the ambush is already set up, and Chief Yagami has a heart-to-heart with both his son and Wedi.
He's on his way to Sakura TV. He'll be there in less than 15 minutes. Are you ready?
I don't need my son asking if I'm ready. Of course I am.
Iber hates using guns. Right now, I'm the only one armed. Take it.
I can't take this. I'm no longer a police officer. Japanese law forbids civilians from having guns. That means you shouldn't be using one either.
Higuchi pulls up to the station and notices that it's empty, but before he can think about it for too long, he heads to the studio where the ambush is.
What? Dummies? Oh, this can't be!
Higuchi, hold it right there!
Don't move!
Higuchi is now surrounded, and after he realizes that he can't see any of their faces, he goes to the good old big iron.
I'm with the Yotsuba group from the development department. Let me show you my business.
No, Chief!
Chief Yagami only has a flesh wound, and Higuchi is now speeding away, being followed on the ground and in the air. We then cut to L and Light, where L offers Light a gun, and we see Watari in a shiesty mask with a rifle.
It's a shiesty summer, yeah. Book you for your lumber, yeah. Chopper hit it hard, won't hear it beat, ain't no more drama, yeah.
Higuchi hops on the freeway, and while trying to figure out what to do next, he gets blinded by the headlights of dozens of police cars.
The only one who would do this is...
Yes, you must be right.
Yes sir, that's right, Aizawa is back. I mean, he's in the intro, so I can't say it was a total surprise, but the scene is still great. Higuchi, now surrounded, tries one last time to make an escape, but Watari shoots out his tire and everything is over for the new Kira.
It's over.
Yes, it's over.
Hard-hitting stories, attractive news anchors with great hair, self-consciously multicultural with racist undertones. It's the Weasel News Team. Anchor Cindy Shiney, Charles Justice, meteorologist Artie Schneider, street reporter Sheila Hatano, and Kenny Lapalano with the sports. We call it News. Your team for the war on terror, the weather, and sports. Weasel News.
Yeah, you can tie your own do-rag.
Nah.
Nah, I can't see Pip in a do-rag.
Let me see, like, while you talk for a little bit, I'll see if I can pull up a picture. Gold watch, Colt 45, and do-rag.
Oh, yeah. This nigga eastbound and down. Alright, bro, show the chat, bro. You gotta show the...
Welcome to the stage, Mr. Cat Williams.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Getting into the manga, we learn that Misa has a sister, and she was the one who confirmed Misa's motives in moving to Japan. I mean, she doesn't get a name and probably won't be mentioned again, but it's still nice to see. Shimura also talks about how Coil would know about the group considering using Misa in an advert, and while this is shot down as paranoia, it shows us Shimura's growing desire to separate himself from the Yatsuba killings. We also hear Nawikama thinking about the rock and hard place he's in, and it better sets up the eventual coup that happens, and this character development is important because without it, the Yotsuba group go from evil businessmen to scared businessmen, and we don't get that pivotal middle part where they slowly get paranoid and fearful for their lives. While Higuchi is talking to Rem about marrying Misa, we see that the power of the Death Note is what turns people into Kira. I'm pretty sure I talked about this in one of the first few episodes in this series, but in the manga, it's almost like Light and Kira are two different people, and we see that again when Higuchi says that Misa won't turn him, Kira, down. We also see this idea whenever Light is questioning himself about whether he was or was not Kira. Like, the ideals were still Light's ideals, but the execution was carried out by Kira. And I'm not sure if the point of this is that power corrupts people or what, but it's something interesting that I noticed. Also, when Rem is taking a piece of the Death Note, she remarks on how it's probably bending a rule, but there really isn't any rule for this type of situation. And if they're talking about rule bending with this, I'm very curious to see how they handle Rem helping Misa in the car. While Misa's being interviewed, we hear about her sister again and learn that she lives in Kyoto and was wined and dined to get the information. And it's not like this is game-changing differences or anything, but I've been a fan of the show for years and I'm only just now finding out that Misa has a sister, so bear with me while I process this. I mean, the interview serves the same purpose in both the anime and the manga, so I'm not going to go over every dialogue change, but in the manga they talk about Misa's sister and she denies moving to Japan to pursue Kira, and rather says that she was only half joking about it and the real reason she moved was for her career, and there's a larger focus on Misa's public image. We also get more Rem in the manga as we see her overlooking the interview and wondering if this is all a part of Light's plan or if Misa is in actual danger, and it better sets up Misa and Rem's relationship. Like, Rem loves Misa and even told Light that if he tried to kill Misa, she would write his name down even if it meant her death. And in the anime it's like, well, we all know Rem loves Misa, why do we need to show it? And as a rebuttal, I say that the more they establish things, the more meaningful it is when said thing is changed. It also makes motivations clearer, and we as the audience aren't left in the dark about why these characters are doing what they're doing. Also, when Rem shows herself to Misa, you can see why Misa would be terrified at first. Like in the anime, Rem looks like the type of girl who's on a sports team and wears Nike slides with socks, a pair of gray sweatpants, and a hoodie, most likely one with the team logo on it, and their hair is always in either a bun or a ponytail. I know that was a very specific description, but if you know the type of person I'm talking about, then you know how accurate it is. Whereas Rem in this panel looks like a true blue god of death. Also, if you were wondering, the athletic girl probably has blonde hair and there's a 75% chance that it's dyed. They also call everyone bro, eat flaming hot Cheetos, and are total bitches that vape in the bathroom, but I'm getting off track now. Rem's plot dump with Misa in the bathroom is extended in the manga, and they talk about the handcuffs, and Rem asks if Light still has his Death Note. We also get a Ryuk shout out, and man has it been a while since we've seen him. Misa asks Rem why she can't just kill L, and Rem replies with, observing the current notebook's owner made me want to cheer Light Yagami on. And it's great at showing that even though Rem doesn't fully know what's going on, she still knows that the new Kira is bad news and Misa would be in danger if nothing was done about it. Rem also talks about how now that she's taken a liking to Light, if she were to kill L or the new Kira, it might extend Life's lifespan, which would kill Rem. And now I'm very interested in how the manga handles Rem killing someone for Misa. Also, all of these added scenes are great at showing how Rem went from initially disliking Light to now rooting for him to win. Like, Rem talks about how even though Light killed people who got in the way, his overall pursuit for a better world was pure. Also, before Misa leaves the bathroom, Rem gasses her up, and it's nice to see Misa getting some confidence. I don't care if this is a translation thing or not, this line is great, and I'm adding it to my vocabulary immediately. In the manga, we get scenes with the task force while Misa's in the interview, and Chief Yagami talks about making a press release exposing the Yotsuba group, and this is not only shot down pretty quickly, but is also something I'm glad the anime cut. Like, we get it, Chief, you want to serve justice no matter what, even if you die, because it's the morally right thing to do. But when that's literally every scene you're in, it gets kinda stale after a while. Like in the anime when Chief Yagami and Wedi are getting ready for the studio ambush and the chief tells her that she shouldn't have a gun because it's illegal. It's funny because he's worried about something like that, even though he's about to face off against someone who he believes is Kira. Where here, it's as if he told her that she shouldn't have it and then went on a monologue about justice and how he's willing to die over this, and she needs to be doing the right thing because people are dying, and it's kinda cringe, bro. And did he mention that he's willing to die over this because of justice, and totally not because he hates his wife and is disappointed in his kids and is just looking for an easy out? Finally, getting to the part I've been most excited about, we get a very disappointing hand wave of, well, I, a literal god of death, will have to trust Misa, who, for all intents and purposes, just found out that Shinigami are real less than a week ago, and just hope that killing this guy won't have any connection to lengthening Misa's lifespan. Very disappointing. But we also hear Higuchi thinking about how if Misa was the second Kira, they could just show each other their Shinigamis, but since he left his notebook at the house, he wouldn't be able to show Misa. Getting back to the task force, the one nice thing about the scene with Chief Yagami is that when Misa comes back and shows the task force the recording she got, she not only took care of identifying Kira, but also handled the killings that the chief was so upset about, making this my favorite Misa moment so far. We open this next chapter of manga with a great full color panel that perfectly expresses the amount of hype contained within these pages. Also, I see you there, Hyde and Ryuk. When the team is deciding what to do next, they talk about just asking Nawakama and telling him that Higuchi is Kira in an attempt to get him to side with L. And I think I like it better in the anime where they call him up to use him in the Sakura TV setup, and he just so happens to be with some other Yatsuba members that wouldn't mind joining L. I think it's just because of the pace the anime sets, and this is the perfect little break before continuing the escalation. We also see Light asking how Misa convinced Higuchi that she was the second Kira, and we see Misa thinking up some convincing lies before diverting the attention by saying that Light is just jealous of Higuchi, and Light just wants to arrest Higuchi, that way Misa will be safe. We also see Misa thinking about how she knows that Higuchi uses a notebook to kill, but she can't say anything because it would ruin whatever plan Light has, and it would draw unnecessary attention to herself. The manga also reincorporates the pep talk Rem gave Misa, and she decides that she won't do any more independent investigation, but she'll play into the character that does. And like in a lot of anime, women characters tend to boil down to tits on a stick, so it's nice to see someone that's actually a developed character with motivations and self-awareness. I mean, Misa doesn't pass the Bechdel test, and there are a lot of scenes that play into her being some hot meat, but Death Note has found a way to have its cake and eat it too. In the manga, the whole Sakura TV plan is thought of because L found a way to make Chief Yagami's plan work, and while I still have my gripes with the manga chief, I'm now kind of disappointed that the anime cut the scene, because L reworking someone else's plan is a well-needed break from L having the ability from the Sherlock Holmes movie starring Robert Downey Jr.
Good show, Watson!
Thank you, Holmes.
During the secret Yatsuba meeting, we hear about the initiation process, which included watching someone die, then seeing their own printouts about their deaths ready to go. And it's nice to hear some more Yatsuba group lore before this arc is over. Speaking about Yatsuba lore, we get a suit and tie version of the "We're Marines, brothers till the end," and it's met with a "yeah, dude." And I can't tell if they're trying to be fake deep with this, or if they're trying to show that the Yatsuba group was a group of decent people that just had one rotten apple that spoiled the bunch. It also kind of confirms my headcanon that the Yatsuba group is basically the group of teens from I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Right now, we make a pact. We take this to our grave. Agreed? Agreed! Agreed. Say it, Cindy!
In the manga, we hear about the president of the Yatsuba Corporation, and it's interesting to think that Kira still has to report in to someone who's just an unnamed rich businessman. Well, I guess if Higuchi gets his way, then it won't be that way anymore, but I guess spoiler since we already covered what happened in the anime part of this video. I wish I had more to comment on the manga at this point, but it's really the same as the anime, or I guess the anime is the same as the manga, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Also, this kind of goes without without saying, but the music and sound in the anime really adds to the stakes and escalation, but you can't really get that when reading the manga unless you're listening to the OST while reading. The main reason I want to point out when the anime did it better is because most of the time when a book gets adapted to a movie or a beloved anime gets adapted to Netflix garbage, there's a group of people that will say, the book was better, or did you know that in the book all of the kids had an orgy in the sewers? Yes, that's a real thing, but they cut it from the movie, and reading is for nerds. Cool dudes watch movies, so I like to point out when the medium is utilized to enhance the source material instead of just being a lazy paint-by-numbers retelling. We get another pretty dope full color page, and if any of you know where to get posters of these, let me know in the comments. In the manga, we see L contacting the National Transportation Bureau to close off the motorways, that way they can minimize collateral damage, and they might have slipped this in the anime and I just didn't notice. This video is taking longer than I thought it would, but now it makes sense how they got Higuchi on the conveniently empty freeway where he would be captured. We also get a scene with Aizawa and Ide where they talk about how and why they're there, and it's nice to see. Like, we hear about how after Aizawa left L, he was made chief investigator, and with the help of Ide, they made a secret group of officers that wanted to take down Kira, and they also talk about how they got butterflies in their stomachs when they saw Matsuda on TV and heard about the Porsche over the radio. I guess in the anime, it's like a big badass moment, and in the manga, it's more like a heartwarming reunion between Aizawa and the reader. When Higuchi is about to exit to main menu, we hear his thoughts leading up to the gun getting shot out of his hand, and hopefully none of you can relate to this, but the scattered thinking of his options before ultimately realizing that there's only one way to escape his situation is great at showing just how broken the Death Note has made him. When I was making this video, I thought about just sticking with the 2-episode format and leaving it with a cliffhanger, but then I decided since this is the premiere of season 2, I'd start out with a bang. Boy, did I choose wrong. I thought I could just knock this out in a week, but writing the script took about a week, so I hope it was worth the wait. As far as the story of Death Note is concerned, I really like where they're going with this. I've said it before, but most of my knowledge of this series ended halfway through the Yotsuba arc, so all of this is pretty much new to me, and I just ate these episodes up. Like, I really wasn't a fan of the soft reboot they did when Light and Misa relinquished ownerships of their Death Notes, so seeing it collapse was not only thrilling, but satisfying. Really, the only differences in this are the manga extending scenes like the one with Misa and Rem in the bathroom, and adding context to things like the Sakura TV plan being a reworked plan from the chief. Oh, also Misa has a sister, but other than that, they're pretty parallel tellings of the Death Note story. I'm not sure what my next video will be over. I still have a lot of Batman content to go over, but I'm kinda getting burnt out on those, so I'm thinking about doing a video over Red Dragon or Seven. I know we're kind of past the spooky month, but Red Dragon has Edward Norton in one of the best scenes to ever be filmed.
Don't quiet me, you little f***it! Apologize! Say I'm sorry, Daddy. I'm a dirty little beast.
And Seven has Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, Arlie Ermey, Kevin Spacey. Oh no. There's also the follow-up to my video going over the time Scooby-Doo met Batman, but whenever my next video comes out, you can always catch me every 2 weeks on the Henny for Your Thoughts podcast I co-host with Arnie King. Also, if you want to show your support and get behind-the-scenes updates, follow me on Patreon. If you just want general behind-the-scenes content, follow me on Instagram at PimTurkey69. Until next time, later.